them or hate them, video gaming is not just a pastime anymore. Maybe it's an obsession with some people, but actually the gaming industry has pushed computer hardware so far that it's now influencing other fields. And because of that, it's now possible to use the documentation and visualization technologies and techniques for forensic death investigations. And so our next speaker is going to talk to us about gaming for the dead. Please welcome to the stage Lars Christian Ebert. Take it away.
Video games are a complete waste of your time. At least that's something you hear quite often when you're a gamer. And I hope in the next 5 minutes I can convince you that it's not that easy and that many of the technologies are actually quite useful in other fields as well. I started gaming quite early. This is my first computer. It's a C64. I got it when I was 12. And naturally, all my friends shared the same hobby. It went pretty far. How far it went, you can see on the next slide. We started to organize LAN parties, so this is the largest one in Göttingen with 1,800 gamers in one hall. So you see I was quite serious about this, and I naturally studied computer science and did the obvious thing that you do when you study computer science. You go to research here. That's the Institute of Forensic Medicine, our autopsy hall, but we're not using knives and saws and scissors to perform the autopsy. We're using imaging. So we're using CT and MRI scanners that we have at our disposal at the Institute. On the left side, our CT scanner. On the right side, our MRI scanner. And we use these devices to try to find out what a person died of. Now, when you work with these devices and you have the background that I do, which is computer science and a bit of gaming as a hobby, you realize that most of these devices are driven by graphics cards that are actually originally developed for gaming. And I want to go into detail a bit more how that came through, and we need to go back in time a bit, namely to the year 1993, to this game. This is Doom. It looks 3D. Back at the time, it looked stunning, but it's not 3D. It's all fake and trickery because the processors at the time were just not fast enough to do actual 3D. So the industry had to come up with something, and what they came up with is this. They developed a dedicated chipset that would take over parts of the calculations for 3D graphics, as it was used for Quake that you can see on the left side here. And this was the basis for what we have nowadays. And in the past 20 years, two big developments happened. First of all, they got super fast. A modern graphics card can calculate a video like this with 60 images a second, where the old processor that was used for Doom would take 9.5 days for just one image. The second thing is they got super flexible. So you can not only calculate graphics, you can calculate physics effect, like the fog that is moving here in the Batman game. And these two things make them super useful for us. For instance here, this thing is not called computed tomography for no reason. It uses a lot of processing power. A full body scan, if we scan a body, is round about 10,000 single images that need to be processed somehow. And this processing is entirely happening on graphics cards. We have about 500 cases a year that are scanned using this technology. But you can not only scan and document, you can also visualize. And also this runs on gaming graphics cards. So normal, not a fancy, just a normal computer can generate an image like this. It's a normal CT scan. You can rotate it in real time. You can look at it. You can slice it the way you want. And radiologists can use it to identify fractures, for instance. If you want to go really fancy, you can do something that is called cinematic rendering. This is basically simulating how single photons interact with the tissue, and you get this realistic appearance of the tissue. It's a normal CT scan, just the same you get in a hospital. It's just a different way of visualizing that uses graphics card. But you can also use the graphics card to do other things, like here you can see how an artificial neural network detects blood around the heart. Again, works completely on graphics cards, and is only possible because we have the speed and the processing power we have. We have a collaboration with the police, so they scan the crime scenes, we deliver the medical data, and we can combine all these things to crime scene reconstructions, like the one you can see here, where we can visualize bullet trajectories, combining all the data we have. And if we want to present it to state attorneys, again, we're using gaming technology, like virtual reality headsets, and of course the graphics cards that would generate the images that are displayed on the virtual reality headset. So you see, these graphics cards are very useful, not just for us, basically anywhere from protein folding in biology to simulating black holes in astrophysics. This is run on gaming graphics cards. So if you were into video gaming and you ever hear the sentence again that gaming is good for nothing and a waste of time, I hope now you know what to say. Thank you very much.
Hi.
Hello.
Amazing. I heard this during rehearsal and I was just blown away by the idea that you can use this technology to... Can you actually use this technology to recreate a crime scene?
It's not so much about recreation, because recreation is always a problem. What we can do is we can test, for instance, if what a witness says is in accordance with the evidence that is found at the crime scene. So if a witness says, I don't know, I shot him, or that person was shot from a specific angle, you can test that hypothesis, and you can make a visualization that states, yes, that could be true, or it absolutely cannot be true. Obviously, it's difficult to know what actually happened unless you have something like video footage, which we had in the case that you just saw.
So that was a real case, that like
case.
Blowing out, like... that guy with the...
Yeah, all of these cases were real cases. One of them, the virtual reality case, was a case that is used to train policemen. So it's a case here from Zurich where the police tried to arrest a known drug dealer, and it kind of didn't went very well, so he was able to get up, pull a gun, and fire 7 shots. Luckily, he didn't hit anyone, and it was recorded by a surveillance camera.
How can you fire 7 shots and not hit anybody?
That was actually the question of the state attorney. Did he do it on purpose? Like, did he try to not hit anyone, or wasn't he possible to hit anyone because there were 5 policemen on his arm? That was the question.
Yeah, wow. And did your work help to come to a conclusion?
I certainly hope so, yes.
Ah, okay. So this stuff's used in court as evidence?
This stuff is used in court as evidence. We're currently working that the virtual reality things are also used in court. Right now, they're mainly used to present the reconstructions to the state attorneys, not to the judges. And we also use it to do something like a crime scene visit, where you can have a witness or a perpetrator who has to explain what he did, what they saw in virtual reality, because the actual crime scene is not accessible anymore.
So the crime scene's not accessible. They put on virtual reality goggles and they go back in time.
Exactly. So the police scans the entire crime scene, and that's the basis for the reconstruction that you can enter again. That's
absolutely amazing. Wow, what amazing work. Will you please put your hands together for Lars, Christian, Ebert. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Amazing. Wow.